Meteorologist Matthew East here along with you. This is the Friday, February 19th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Some mild weekend weather on the way. Still a lot of uncertainty with the big storm system that comes through next week. It may be a couple of waves of low pressure. The models are not handling this at all very well right now. And we'll talk about briefly some long-range thoughts, too, as this edition of the video rolls along. Let's begin with, again this morning, a look at the Greensboro Tower camera perspective. It is a quiet, cool start to the day. Temperature right at freezing in Greensboro. I'll show you other temperatures in just a moment. A couple of web cameras across the state. Avalon Pier web camera, kind of dark there on the left. The Beach Mountain Parkway camera, courtesy of ResortCams.com, on the right. Still some snow on the ground on that Beach Mountain camera. Temperature's chilly at both sites. It's 35 at Kill Devil Hills, 30 atop Beach Mountain. Some great ski conditions in the North Carolina mountains if you want to head up that way. And in general, the weather cooperating pretty nicely over the next couple of days, too. All right, so yesterday, a lot of 50s on the board for highs. 59 in Columbia, 54 in Fayetteville, 55 in Wilmington, 51 in Raleigh, Greensboro as well, 51 in Lexington, 50 in Asheboro, mid-50s around the Charlotte area yesterday afternoon. Today, I think kind of similar highs in the 50s in most spots. Right now, there's your 5 o'clock hour temperatures, 30s, some 20s in the normally colder spots away from the bigger cities. So another morning when you want to grab the coats or the jackets as you head on out the door, and a relatively cool day. The radar's still very quiet this morning across the Carolinas and really most of the eastern part of the country, too. Now, you get up into the northern plains, the Great Lakes, and the Pacific Northwest. That's where activity is picking up. Check out the water vapor imagery. Very quiet in the eastern part of the country, but look at this. You get out west, and this is the origins of our next storm system. All kinds of energy out there in the Pacific Ocean. You're continuing to get some wild swings in the modeling. What happens is you see this piece of energy gradually carve out a trough in the eastern part of the country, but exactly how that trough sharpens, whether it sharpens here or more here, it's just wreaking havoc with the medium range guidance, and you continue to get some wild swings in the modeling from one run to the next. High temperatures today underneath the ridge ahead of that Pacific Ocean energy. These highs are very mild. Look at Sioux City, Iowa, 61. Meridian, Mississippi at 76, and that milder air continues to feed into the Carolinas. I'll show you our highs for the weekend in just a second. Pretty good looking day today, a lot of sunshine. Here's your Friday high temperatures across the Carolinas. Now you get on out into tomorrow. Some high clouds out there, but not a big deal, just kind of a partly sunny sky. And there's your Saturday high temperatures looking good. We get on out into Sunday. We continue to have that southwesterly flow established. Now the trend has been to speed this cold front up just a bit. So the mountains see some Sunday afternoon rain. Maybe a few showers trying to creep over the mountains north of I-40 late Sunday afternoon too. But I think a lot of it's still with a dry Sunday, and then there's your Sunday afternoon high temperatures. Monday, there you go. All right, now we get on out into next week, and I'll show you just one of the recent European computer model tracks, and I'll give you the detailed guidance in just a second. The European modeling has wanted to keep this more along the coast, generally speaking, and so with the daytime run of the European yesterday, you wound up with a pretty good footprint of snow across the Carolinas. Now, the most recent run has shifted a little bit northwest, and you're getting, again, some pretty wild swings from one model run to the next. Let me show you some of the detailed modeling, and I'll show you first of all, aloft. All right, this is the latest European model run that ran last night, and the trough doesn't dig as much this time around. Where the previous run, you had this trough dig way down to the south and a low pressure move from the Gulf right up the coast. Now let me show you what it looks like at the surface here with the most recent European run. This is the surface map. The lines you see here, there's your surface pressures. This is Tuesday evening. And there's your low pressure in the lower South Carolina coast. Pretty good cold air damming signature in the northwest side of this too. At the same time, we'll check the ensemble mean, and notice the ensemble mean is to the southwest. Now, this is a situation where a lot of times the ensemble mean is very useful, but it's difficult to use that if you want to build a surface map this time around because there could very well be two separate waves of low pressure, and you're not going to get that kind of detail that's necessary if that does indeed occur when you look at an ensemble mean. But again, there's the ensemble mean, and again, in relation to the operational, you can notice certainly that it's a little bit slower into the southwest as it's more of a combined area of low pressure. Let me get the next chart here. All right, and this will be, I believe, the GFS model. Actually, here, yeah, there's the European ensemble mean then, and you see it begins to cut up west of the mountain. So it takes a more northwesterly track on the ensemble mean than the operational run. And again, I think that's because you're looking at a difference in whether it sees a consolidated low or not. All right, let me go to the GFS model now. This was the 0Z run of the GFS. Cold air damming here. Low pressure moving into Georgia, secondary taking over along the Carolina coast. Now at the same time, there's the GFS ensemble mean. Again, it is slower, kind of trying to make this into more of one wave of low pressure. Just not going to have the resolution needed if this stays more strung out. And then we go out, let's see here. Oh, I forgot to show you. That was the final chart of the European. You see it moved the low pressure. Again, because it's a mean of all these different low positions on the ensembles, you get that one low pressure on the ensemble mean that moves up into the Carolinas. That's and the Virginias. That's not terribly useful. The latest GFS, it has really amplified things, and it sends one low up into Kentucky and Tennessee. The UK Met, I'm not sure if I stuck that on here. I think I did. Yeah, here we go. This is the UK Met model. It wraps this thing up as a 999 millibar low in North Alabama Tuesday evening. And then 24 hours later, that thing's all the way up in southeastern Ohio and western Pennsylvania. Now, I would say that that's an unlikely solution, and I still think that is an unlikely solution. But again, it just depends on how all this energy aloft amplifies and when it amplifies. And so you have the latest GFS that's not terribly dissimilar from the UK Met. And before I wrap it up here, I'll show you the Canadian chart. It's more of a suppressed and colder solution. This is Tuesday, early afternoon. There is overnight Tuesday night into Wednesday. Some ice in the mountains in the northern foothills. We go out to Wednesday morning. The system is pulling away. And then a second wave moves through with some rain Thursday morning. Wednesday night into Thursday morning. The hand-drawn chart here from the WPC, they've continued to favor this further south and east solution, low pressure in the Outer Banks there on Wednesday morning. And I still lean my forecast in that direction, more of a coastal low scenario. But, I mean, I'm telling you, there's so many moving pieces. In some of the guidance, you're getting two separate low pressures. In some of the guidance, it's consolidating into one low that cuts up west of the Appalachians. That is a possibility. I think it's a little bit of a less likely solution, but it is a possibility. But for the time being, I'm going to go with that more southerly track. If you want wintry precip and some snow, it's possible if that southerly track verifies that you get some snow in the western Carolinas, but just be aware that's kind of the far southeastern range of possibilities. I think more likely a lot of the Carolinas are looking at a chilly rain, but I can't certainly guarantee that just yet. It's a complex scenario. I mean, there's so much energy at 500 millibars that's flying around, and the models just don't know which piece of energy to amplify, and it's a complex scenario. So you continue to see some very, very wild swings from one model run to the next, and that's probably going to continue over the next day or two before this energy gets better sampled and you get a better idea of what's going on. Sorry I can't offer any more clarity. It's just a very complex scenario. For my forecast on air today, I've gone with the idea of some rain, some chilly rain for a lot of the Piedmont and the upstate Monday, especially focused around Tuesday, and then maybe lingering into Wednesday. And we'll just have to see where exactly that low pressure winds up tracking. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Everybody have a great weekend, and God bless.